Greetings, travelers. Tell me you didn't. The Hey, Disney, what's happening? Interesting. Well, that's rarely good. Hey, what's up, Grover? No, you didn't, Disney. Congrats. I know the feeling very well, Grover. I am right there with you. Wow, congrats, Disney. That's awesome. Wait, what? Oh, custodial. Still, I mean, working for Universal. What's this? What's this? Stay strong, Grover. Oh dear. It's Clundy Man. Acreage? The acreage may be tilled? What the fuck? Oh, you saw that podcast? That was fun. That time flew by. I swear to God, it felt like we were talking for 20 minutes, but we, talked for an hour, maybe a little more. Going to be doing a couple big podcast tours coming up soon. I'm very excited. Oh, God. Also, very shortly, I should be getting in the mail a proof copy of the Nightblade Epic Volume 1, which is very exciting. It's going to be big, you guys. It's going to be bigger than 6 by 9. It's going to be thick as fuck. That's what she said. It's just under 700 pages, which is like... I mean, it's going to be bigger than Wormspire, which is my biggest... And it's going to be taller. Like, this is my biggest book so far. And it's going to be taller, it's going to be wider, and it's going to be thicker. Pretty cray-cray. And it's going to have maps and a pony and... Oh, thanks for the thanks for the host, Disney. My daughter has taken to drawing many, many pictures of a unicorn with wings, and so we've decided to call it a pegacorn or a unicis, one of the two. And don't tell my daughter, but we just got a Nintendo NES Classic for Christmas. I'm fucking excited. Thanks for the host, Fallen Clown. Much appreciated. Yellow. How do you novel? Well, you try a lot and you write about 1,000,000 words and none of them are any good, and then you write more words and they turn out to be not too bad, and then you get them critiqued by people who know how to write and you feel like you're terrible again, but you keep practicing. And meanwhile, you read and 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 you read. Hey, it's Butters. Butters. Important plot point passes as a minor note in the video that nobody pays attention to. Do do do. How do I novel? I turn on the stream and I beat the shit out of my computer until a book falls out. Wait, what happened, Fallen Clown? Outlining every inch of your first TV pilot. Holy shit, good job. Now you just have to get it produced. The hard work is over. Oh, wait. I meant the opposite of what I said. How many chapters in Shadeborn? 35 plus the epilogue, huh? Well, that's not happening today. Can I do it this way? Oh, that's interesting. Their fire's light. Nope. They might be spied from the west. Well, Clooney man, I may have oversimplified a little bit. There might be a little bit more to it than that, but just a little bit. It's basically just hitting your computer with a baseball bat until a book just kind of just. No, I novel by coming up with an idea and then working on the idea and rehashing it and coming up with better ideas until I have an idea that I really want to write. And then I turn that into an outline, which is always terrible, and then I rework the outline and I rework the outline and I rework the outline and I rework the outline until I really want to write the outline into an actual book. And then I write the first draft and I just try to get through that as quickly as I possibly can because it's my least favorite part of the entire process. And then I edit and I edit and I edit and I edit and I edit. And when I feel like I'm maybe somewhere close to a good book, I edit again and I edit and I edit and I edit. And then eventually I send it to an editor feeling like it is the most brilliant novel that has ever been written. And then my editor says, Are you serious? No, that's not true. She's much kinder than that. She sends it back to me, and then I do the thing, and then I publish it. It's all very simple, really. It depends on who you are, how hard you work at it, how long does it take to write a book. Is that IPE or LPE? I think it's going to be LPE. LPE, it takes as long as it takes, and you should never expect it to be done, because then you'll be pleasantly surprised when it is. You should just be like, well, I'm just going to keep working on this, and I'm just going to keep working on this, I'm going to keep working on this. And then eventually one day you're like, wait, am I done? And you'll show it to somebody else, and they'll be like, wow, this is actually decently good. You'll be like, oh my god, I'm done. Yeah, exactly. The editor does promptly rip it to pieces. But if you get a good editor, they rip it to pieces, and if you get a great editor, they rip it to pieces, and they're very nice about it. Fallen Clown, I think you're asking if I'm more of a plotter than a pantser. In other words, do I plot my book or do I write them by the seat of my pants and just sort of make it all up as I go along? I am definitely a plotter. And I don't think that makes my books plot driven. It just means that, boy, I don't understand how people write by the seat of their pants. I can't do it. You know, maybe that's a sign of a better writer than me, because I'm certainly not, the greatest writer that exists. Um, but yeah, like there's so many problems in a story. There's so many problems. There's inconsistencies, there's bad characterization, there's things that don't make any fucking sense, there's plot holes, there's characters who appear and then vanish, and what happened to them, what scene are they in, where, why are they, you just had them over here, and then in the very next scene you have them in this place that's 200 miles away, but it's only 2 hours later. It doesn't make any sense. And all of that gets figured out in outlining, or at least I figure all that out in outlining. And for people to write by the seat of their pants, I don't understand. I think that basically pantsing just means that you spend a lot more time in editing, and I already spend enough time in editing. Here we are. So yeah, yeah, and I think that writing this way lets me make better characters, because I think just outlining makes everything so much easier, because you figure out whether it works or not before you spend all the time writing the first draft. And maybe you don't know, like maybe some people are like, well, but you never know until you write the first draft anyway. But yeah, you do, right? Like, I don't think it's crazy to say, like, oh, here's the outline, here's the sequence of events that happen. That all makes sense. Good. Now let's turn that into like an actual book. Oh God, you're changing the POV? Yeah. Oh. See, that's a thing I'm never gonna like. I never want to have to go through. That sounds fucking horrible. Let me guess. The fire's soft glow. Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh God, Grover. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds rough. I'm gonna grab coffee real quick. Be right back. We are writing my favorite scene in Underrealm, by the way. This scene right here, chapter 16 of Shadeborn. My favorite chapter in any book I've written so far. Boom. They were of many hues, but shared white clothing and the same raven black hair, which hung long down to the smalls of their backs, wafting gently with every movement. They wore no armor and carried no weapons, clad only in robes, the edges of which filled and floated as though under water. Even their eyes were white, a thin and ghostly gossamer with no pupils or irises, so that it was hard to tell where they were looking. Their eyes were as pale as their clothing, a thin and ghostly gossamer with no pupils or irises, so that it was hard to tell where they were looking. This is my job, LPE. It is what I do for a living. Oh, by the way, you're new. Welcome to the stream. Have a free book. That's the first book in my series, and it is yours to enjoy for free, because like any good drug dealer, I make my money off of the second one. My very, very first novel would be this one, Touch Trilogy, which I will rewrite someday, and I will also get a better cover, because this is not a good cover. I did it myself. It's a fun story. It's kind of, I would call it urban sci-fi, probably. It's like kind of a thriller, kind of a thriller. It has sci-fi elements. Basically, it's about a girl who can see people's thoughts when she touches their skin, but it's not. It's a very invasive process, and it doesn't. It's not pleasant for her. It's not like she can just like I'm gonna look at your thoughts. It's like it's like their thoughts take over her mind rather than just allowing her to observe them or whatever. And she doesn't know why, and it just manifested when she was a teenager, and she's been living a life trying not to let anyone get close to her for 10 years or something like that. And that was a film script that I wrote. And when somebody told me that I should write and publish books to try and create intellectual property that I had the rights to, that I could then sell a film script, I had this, film that I'd written, and that I'd actually shot. I actually made a short film out of that story. And so I decided to take my feature version of that story and just turn it into a book. And it is my first novel, and I wrote it. It's not the first thing I ever wrote. I wrote probably 2.5 million words before Touch, through high school, after high school, and everything like that. Just writing a bunch of sci-fi fantasy type stuff, a lot of fan fiction. But that was the first thing where I was like, okay, I'm gonna publish this, and that was the story of my first book, which has made, in the many years it has been published, it has not made. Hold on, I'm gonna get a useful number on this really quick. I published that in December of 2012. Oh my god, my 4-year anniversary as a published author just passed like a few days ago. That's crazy. Next year's 5 years. Cry, cry. Oh my god, that's so crazy. Is that right? Wait a minute. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay. Okay, so so touch in its entire lifetime of 4 years, more than 4 years now, has not made as much money as by like a lot. Has not made as much money in the 4 years it's been published as Nightblade did last month, which is 2 years after I first, which is more than 2 years after I first published Nightblade. So, one, the marketing's clearly not there on Touch. Two, there's no point in putting the marketing there on Touch because it's not that good, right? Like it just isn't. I'm aware of this. I recognize it. Simulator was a thing. I will write Simulator one day, but I will not. It doesn't make any sense to spend time on it right now. That's all. LPE, number one thing is having an email list. My email list is the majority of my marketing. I write a book, I publish it, I tell my email list, there's like 15,000 people on it, they go and buy the book. It works great. Obviously, it's taken me a long time to get that many people on my email list, and that's actually most of the marketing that I do is just get people on the email list. Right now, my main way of doing that is through Facebook ads. And in the last year and a half, let's see, about a year ago, I had 2,000 people on my email list that I had accumulated after 3 years. So 3 years, 2,000 people on my email list. I was not making it as an author. It wasn't my full-time job. I started spending money on Facebook ads to get people to join my email list. I became a full-time author. I became pretty decently successful at it, and and in the last year, I've added 13,000 people to the email list. So that is, for me, that is the difference. That was the difference between not making it and making it. Yeah, right? Yeah, Simulator was the last time. I think it was also the first time. Simulator was the first and last time, whoops, that I ever tried to write without an outline. That I just tried to sit down and just pants it. And it did not work. No way. No way. Did the... Ah! There. If that was their intent. I wrote it. That's my typo. But the editor didn't catch it. So that's fun. Loo-doo-doo! Hey, what's up, Gemshine? Do I need to just leave this open? Whatever. Oh, in fun news, haha. So Amazon continues to order new Nightblade paperbacks, which is great. And so we ordered 18 more, Nightblade paperbacks from CreateSpace, and they were coming in the mail, and we had back orders, but they were gonna satisfy the back orders, and then we were gonna immediately place another restock order. Ha ha ha! Well, it turns out, I accidentally ordered a box full of trade paperbacks, not paperbacks. In other words, not this book. The one that Amazon wanted. But this book. Now, as it turns out, Amazon continues to order more of these as well, so it's not a big deal. Like, we can use those mass market paperbacks. It's not like wasted money, and it's not a huge amount of money either way. But now it's going to be like another 10 days until I can fulfill all the back orders to Amazon, so that's fun. And now that I'm thinking about that, I realized today that I should place another restock order to come by snail mail and not priority shipping, so that I have more books to fulfill more Amazon orders. Loo-doo-doo! Loot to do makes its return. I mean, you know, like, you know, clearly, uh, clearly it's very cool that Amazon keeps ordering the book. Like, that's great. It's just that, oh, hey, they did get more in stock. Yay. Okay, so they have copies of the paperback in stock right now. Um, but they keep selling out of them, which is not great. They're out of stock in the mass markets right now, but we just ship them more. Wait, what? Did I send you these? What's wrong with you? Anyway, I'm pretty excited about that. That, you know, like they're actually stocked and sold and shipped, and everything gets taken care of by Amazon. That's pretty cool. And we actually we set company goals about a week ago. We were like, all right, what's our goals for 2017? What are we gonna do? What's our thing that we're trying to do? And a goal that we agreed upon was we want to place our first bulk order for paperbacks. We want to do an actual printing of paperbacks in 2017, which means that we need about like 500 to 1,000 at once. But once you do that, you get way up there in terms of profitability on each book sold. So that's cool. Big fan. And yeah, if that happens in 2017, I will be a very happy duck. Boom. Slowly, she reached for her waist, desperately hoping that this was not a terrible mistake. adjectives. Too many adverbs, I should say. Stephen King would roll in his grave if he wasn't still alive and well. Then they moved at last, or at least one of them did. It stepped away from the others and came forwards, and watching the movement of its limbs was like watching a courtly dancer. The elf was pure grace and ease, and at the same time, convey is not the right word, thesaurus.com. Impart, yes. And at the same time, it imparted a terrifying power. Ah, language. Wow, really? Oh, right, because it's in the original. Well, that makes sense. flashed in the light of both moons, which were directly overhead, and Lauren thought she saw the silver glow of the elves reflected in its steel as well. And then the elves began to sing. Okay, so this... what? Lauren burst into tears. Her knees failed her, and she fell to the ground in a heap. And the editor changed this to floor. The floor? They are out camping in the wilderness. There is no floor. A floor is a thing you build. It's something in a building. A building has a floor. My office has a floor. My living room has a floor. If it's dirt, unless it's a dirt floor, in a house with a dirt floor, which does exist, if it's not in a building, it's not a floor. Forest floor? Okay, I guess. But this is not a correct use of that definition of floor. Ah, Magnus. Greetings, traveler. Nice, Fallen Clown. God, I love this scene. I love this scene so much. I love it so much. So very much. I think Lauren is the only character who's going to touch an elf. I think. I don't know. Do 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 do. I don't have plans for anybody else to do it. Somebody else is going to have an interaction with one. But this is the only time where Oh, what the fucking shitballs? There we go. Untitled document. Chapter 16 done. All right, I think I'm going to end the stream here. Just take a little break. I'll probably come back again after the kids go to bed, as per usual. But it's been a tiring day, and I was up very, very extremely late last night. But thank you for coming and hanging out, y'all. It's been good to see ya. Good to see you, Magnus, Grover, Gemshine, Clooney Man. Good to meet you, LPE. Hope you enjoy the book. Fallen Clown, as always. Butters. Yeah, Butters. And Disney. I think that was everybody who was here. If I missed you, I apologize, as always. I'll be back later tonight. Probably work, into the wee hours of the morning like we have been doing the last few days. Catch all another time. Bye.